Welcome to Tales of Tomorrow, where we bring you spine-chilling tales that will leave you on the edge of your seat. In tonight's episode, we present The Sinister Knock, a terrifying tale of love, darkness, and the struggle against the unknown. Prepare yourself for a bone-chilling journey as Tom and Sarah, a loving couple, come face to face with the sinister black-eyed children. Will their love be strong enough to protect them from the evil that lurks in the shadows? Sit back, turn down the lights, and let's find out. The Sinister Knock. Tom and Sarah, a young couple who had recently moved into their dream house, were huddled together on the couch, trying to find solace in each other's arms. The modern, secluded house they had chosen, surrounded by dense woods, had always been a symbol of their love and commitment to each other. But tonight, with the storm raging outside, their sanctuary had taken on a more sinister atmosphere. The torrential rain pelted against the windows, as if desperately trying to seep inside the house, while the lightning briefly illuminated the darkness, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The thunder roared overhead, shaking the very foundations of their home and making the old oak trees in the woods creak and groan as if in pain. Tom glanced at Sarah, her eyes wide with fear, as they listened to the howling wind, both unable to shake an inexplicable sense of dread. In an attempt to distract themselves from the unnerving sounds outside, they decided to watch a light-hearted movie. However, the storm outside seemed to have other plans, as the electricity flickered, the TV screen flickering along with it. "We'll be okay, Sarah," Tom said, squeezing her hand reassuringly. "It's just a storm." "I know," she replied, trying to sound brave. "It's just that this storm feels different somehow, like it's hiding something." Tom nodded, understanding her fear, but not wanting to let it consume them. "Let's try to focus on something else," he suggested, pulling her closer and wrapping a protective arm around her. As the storm continued to rage outside, Tom and Sarah tried their best to ignore the unsettling atmosphere that had descended upon their home. They whispered stories of their future together, laughed at shared memories, and held each other close as the hours ticked by. Little did they know that the most terrifying part of the night was yet to come, and their love would be put to the ultimate test. The chilling arrival. Just as Tom and Sarah had begun to relax, an insistent knock on the door pierced through the cacophony of the storm. Startled, they exchanged uneasy glances, their hearts pounding in their chests. "Who could that be at this hour?" Sarah whispered, her voice quivering with fear. "I don't know, but I'll go check it out," Tom said, gently disentangling himself from her embrace and rising from the couch. As Tom approached the door, he couldn't help but feel a shiver run down his spine. He hesitated for a moment, his hand hovering over the doorknob, before finally mustering the courage to open the door. Standing on their doorstep were a teenage boy and a girl, both drenched by the rain and shivering from the cold. Their clothes clung to their bodies, and their faces were pale and gaunt. But what truly unnerved Tom were their eyes, eerily pitch black, devoid of any light or warmth. "Please, can you help us?" the boy asked, his voice barely audible over the howling wind. "Our car broke down and our phones are dead. We just need somewhere to stay until the storm passes." Despite the sense of creeping dread that washed over him, Tom couldn't turn away the desperate children. He glanced back at Sarah, who had appeared behind him, her eyes wide with concern. She nodded hesitantly, and Tom knew they had no choice but to let them in. "Of course," Tom said, forcing a smile. "Come in. We'll get you dry clothes and something warm to drink." As the children crossed the threshold, Tom and Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they had just invited something sinister into their home. The storm outside continued to rage, oblivious to the danger that now lurked within the house. And as the black-eyed children settled in, the air grew thick with an unspoken terror that threatened to consume them all. A night of unsettling events. Tom and Sarah did their best to make the children feel comfortable. They provided them with dry clothes and warm blankets, and Sarah prepared steaming mugs of hot cocoa, hoping to alleviate the bone-chilling cold that seemed to cling to the young visitors. As the night wore on, the couple couldn't help but notice the children's strange behavior. They were unnervingly quiet, answering questions with vague one-word responses or avoiding them altogether. Their eyes, those eerily pitch-black orbs, seemed to pierce straight through Tom and Sarah, sending shivers down their spines every time their gazes met. Meanwhile, the house seemed to have taken on a life of its own. The electricity flickered sporadically, casting the rooms into momentary darkness before sputtering back to life. Ghostly whispers echoed through the hallways, accompanied by the sound of footsteps, even though no one else was there. Personal items vanished, only to reappear in unexpected places, as if someone or something were playing a twisted game of hide-and-seek. As the unsettling occurrences continued, Tom and Sarah's unease grew. They exchanged worried glances, unable to shake the feeling that the children were the source of the strange events. The once welcoming atmosphere of their home had transformed into a suffocating, sinister presence that clung to them like a heavy fog. The children seemed to sense their growing fear, and their demeanor shifted, becoming more menacing by the hour. The cold, malicious smiles that flickered across their faces sent chills down Tom and Sarah's spines, and they could no longer deny the truth. The black-eyed children were not what they seemed, and their true intentions were far more sinister than they could have ever imagined. The horrifying truth. Unable to ignore their suspicions any longer, Tom and Sarah decided they needed to uncover the truth about their uninvited guests. They waited until the children were seemingly asleep in the guest room before they began their search, careful not to alert them. As they explored the house, they stumbled upon a hidden room in the basement that they had never noticed before. Inside, they found disturbing artifacts, ancient symbols etched into the walls, and shelves filled with dusty books on the occult. It was as if the room had been specifically designed to house dark and malevolent energies. Frantically, Tom and Sarah began scouring the books for any information that might shed light on the true nature of the black-eyed children. As they dug deeper, they uncovered a series of terrifying accounts detailing the children's malevolent history, spanning back to the early 1900s. The stories spoke of the children appearing during times of great distress, using their innocent facade to deceive kind-hearted souls into welcoming them into their homes, only to unleash unspeakable horrors upon them. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Tom and Sarah realized they had to confront the children and put an end to their reign of terror. They steeled themselves, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and determination, and entered the guest room where the children were supposed to be sleeping. But as they crossed the threshold, the children were not asleep. Instead, they sat up in their beds, their pitch-black eyes staring directly at Tom and Sarah, sinister smiles playing on their lips. The couple knew that they had discovered the children's secret, and there was no turning back. It was time to face the horrifying truth and fight for their lives. A desperate struggle. As Tom and Sarah confronted the black-eyed children, their worst fears were confirmed. The children admitted their plan to drain the couple's life force, enslaving their souls in a twisted, eternal torment. The storm outside seemed to intensify, as if fueled by the darkness within the house. Tom and Sarah knew they needed to act quickly if they had any hope of banishing the evil entities before their lives were consumed. They desperately searched for any weaknesses the children might have, sifting through the information they had uncovered in the hidden room. They discovered that the black-eyed children's power could be weakened by the pure, unwavering love between two souls, as well as the power of light. This revelation gave Tom and Sarah a glimmer of hope. They knew their love for each other was unbreakable, and they clung to this knowledge as they prepared to face the malevolent forces that threatened their very existence. As the storm raged outside, the couple raced against time to gather mirrors, flashlights, and anything else that could produce or reflect light. They knew that they would need to create a blinding circle of light to weaken the children's hold on their home and drive them out. But they also knew that their love for each other would be the key to their survival. They held on to each other tightly, promising never to let go, no matter what horrors they faced. Together they would stand strong against the darkness that sought to destroy them. The final showdown. With their love as their unbreakable shield, Tom and Sarah set their plan in motion. They strategically positioned mirrors and flashlights throughout the living room, creating a blinding circle of light that they hoped would protect them from the black-eyed children's sinister influence. As the children entered the room, they recoiled from the intense light, their once menacing grins fading into expressions of pain and anger. Tom and Sarah stood in the center of the circle, their hands clasped tightly together, their love for each other acting as a powerful barrier against the darkness. "You cannot defeat us," Tom shouted, his voice filled with determination. "Our love will always be stronger than your evil." The black-eyed children hissed and snarled, their hatred palpable as they tried to breach the circle of light. But Tom and Sarah's love held firm, and the children were unable to break through. The storm outside continued to rage, the howling wind and crashing thunder acting as a fitting soundtrack to the epic battle unfolding within the house. Tom and Sarah, fueled by their love and their determination to protect each other, pushed the sinister entities back, driving them out of their home and into the merciless storm. Exhausted but victorious, the couple knew they had to ensure that the black-eyed children would never return. They performed a cleansing ritual, using sage and salt to purify their home and ward off any lingering darkness. The storm outside began to subside, as if in recognition of their triumph. Tom and Sarah's harrowing experience served as a bone-chilling warning to others, emphasizing the importance of trusting one's instincts when confronted by the unknown. Their stories spread through the community, and people began to share their own terrifying encounters with the black-eyed children, hoping to prevent others from falling victim to their malevolent schemes. Forever changed by the events they had survived, Tom and Sarah emerged stronger and more united than ever before. They faced life's challenges with unyielding courage, knowing that their love could conquer even the most sinister of foes. Their home, once again filled with warmth and light, stood as a testament to the power of love and the indomitable strength of the human spirit. And though the memory of the black-eyed children still sent shivers down their spines, Tom and Sarah knew that they were finally safe and that they would always stand together, ready to face whatever darkness might come their way. Thank you for joining us on Tales of Tomorrow for the thrilling conclusion of The Sinister Knock. Love has once again proven itself to be a powerful force against the darkest of foes. Remember to trust your instincts and never underestimate the power of love. Join us next time for another chilling tale that will keep you up at night. Until then, sleep tight and beware of the knock at your door.